Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday, the third day of April 2026. Happy Friday. I hope you're all safe and healthy today and that your families are safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your families in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health along with first responders who every day are doing their best to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are out here trying to help the people that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators, profiteers, and perverts that create the great demands that cause these evil and heinous industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There's going to be a basketball game tonight at Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks are going to be playing the Chicago Bulls at MSG. These are two teams that are going in opposite directions. Not negatively, I'm saying. Chicago, 2 seasons ago, Chicago featured Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, and DeMar DeRozan, along with a mix of other players. All of those guys are gone. All those high-priced guys are out. And so they are now begun a rebuild. This coming summer, they're going to they're going to drop several salaries because people will be unrestricted free agents. Simons, Sexton, Zach Collins, Yabusele, Nick Richards, they're all going to be unrestricted free agents, and they get about 6 guys that's under 25 or under that they can rebuild around and rebuild with. And so they got a nice mix of young players, that not only young players, but guys like Josh Giddey that's 23 but still has serious NBA experience in terms of playing a lot of minutes on good teams. So they can start their rebuild, and they have, with these young guys. The Knicks, on the other hand, are a mature team, are ready for the championship window is open for them. And so they're on another level right now. They're not trying to focus on young guys. They're trying to focus on winning a chip. This is the first time in a while tonight that there's nobody on the Knicks injury report, which means technically they're fully healthy. So their full contingent, it will be available tonight, which means you got your regular starting 5. And then for the first time in a while, you're going to have Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, okay? And then you got a choice. You can go with Kumo D, you could go with Jordan Clarkson, you could go with Alvarado. So they're going to have their full contingent today. We know that Deuce is still working his way back after missing, multiple 20-something games from January to now because of the surgery he had. So he's still working his way back into getting his rhythm, getting his shooting rhythm, getting back on point. And so this is good because now this game right here is the 78th game. I just want to make sure I got that right. But they are now in a good spot in terms of getting themselves ready for the playoffs. The Knicks are now in the 3rd seed. They got a game lead on Cleveland. Yeah, they have played 77 games, and this will be their 78th game. So they got 5 games, including tonight, left to play. And so it's a good size of games to get everybody on point. But the main thing is right now, a week left in the season, and they're fully healthy. And so that's what you want going into the playoffs. Now, of course, we know Mike Brown has got to figure out what to do defensively to get these guys on a consistent high level defensively. So that being the case, he's got to figure out if he wants to continue. And to me, the key point right here is Josh Hart. Is he going to continue to start Josh Hart or not? Now, Josh Hart starting has been a good formula for the Knicks for most of this season. It's just been recently his defensive inadequacies have been catching up to us because we already got 2 weaker defenders in Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. The Knicks have been playing pretty good. In fact, right now, if you look at it, they got a 6-point differential, which is 3rd in the conference. And right now, as far as defensive opponents per game, they're also 3rd. So the Knicks haven't been terrible. In fact, they've been good. defensively for the most part. But in this last part of the season, now we don't know if it's just straight, dog day tired at the end of a season, or is there some sort of, are they really slipping? It could be both, but we got to figure this out before the playoffs. So now that everybody is healthy, again, the dangerous thing about our team is that the starting five can play with any starting five. They've been starting slow. And again, I bring back Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson, been most of the problem there. But they've been starting slow. But for the most part, they've been good. Much better as far as winning percentage than not. But it's that bench, that to me that makes the difference. With Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, you got three guys that are dynamite together, and stats show it. They're dynamite together, those three. So you play them, and then you add, like I said, you got choices. You could go Kumo D, who's 6'9", 7-foot wingspan in that group. You can stick with a starter, which most likely was what Brown's going to do. Much as we like Kumo D, he's a rookie, okay? And everybody wants to bring up, precedents for rookie that played. This cat is 51st pick. Yes, the Knicks did a great job. They got a steal in Kumo D, no doubt. But we getting ready to go into playoffs, and we trying to get this chip. So y'all need to stop tripping. So, yeah, they're going to have veteran probably going into the playoffs with that. And then use a starter with that crew. So you're going to have probably Mitch, Deuce, and Shamet. You can add an Alvarado or Clarkson. And then you can add a starter. It could be any number of starters with that crew. You could be adding Cat. You could be adding OG, McCall, Josh. There's a lot of guys you could add different combinations. And what makes it good is that it's hard to game plan. Even in a 7-game series, somebody could, let's say he has Mitchell Robinson, Shamet, Deuce, and Clarkson, right? And then he decides, okay, I'm going to put OG with them out there. Then the opponent counters, right? Well, then what you going to do when we take OG out, put Cat in there with the double bigs, or we could put McCall in there and run up. There's a lot of things that give the opponents a tough time adjusting to, because of the fact that we got a lot of bench options that are healthy. That's the thing here. And so when Deuce gets his timing back, and Shamet is just now also getting his timing back, and they go into the playoffs, and if they are both knocking down consistently that 3-point shot, we know both of them are going to play very high level defense. But if they're both consistently knocking down that 3-point shot with the defense, the Knicks are going to be tough in a 7-game series against anybody. So right now, Boston, Detroit, New York, Boston, Detroit, New York are the top 3 in the East, with Cleveland a game behind the Knicks. And so if the playoffs were to start today, it'd be Detroit against Charlotte in a 7-game series. It would be Boston against Toronto in a 7-game series. It would be the Knicks against Philly, and Cleveland, Atlanta. Generally speaking, the higher percentage time, the first 4 teams in a conference are the teams that's going to go in the second round. Now, there's upsets, obviously, but that's generally how it works. So last year, it was Cleveland, and Cleveland lost to Indiana, and it was Cleveland number 1. Indiana was 4. And then it was Boston number 2, and then Knicks number 3. And the Knicks beat Boston, so that in the second round, it was number 3 Knicks versus number 4 Indiana. And if you recall, Knicks had home court. They lost the first 2 games at home, and that was the series right there. But that's how it works. So you could have upsets, but generally those first 4 teams advance. Of course, a couple of years ago, Miami was like the 8th seed, and they went all the way to the conference finals and all the way to the finals, matter of fact. So that could happen, and the Knicks have done that too. But generally, the first 4 go into the second round, and the order of the first 4 tells you what the second round home court is, and such and such. So it's 2-2, 1-1-1. That's how the 7-game series works. So right now, the Knicks are just trying to get right. Beating Memphis the other night without 3 rotation players help us get a little right. Tonight, it continues. So what you want is you want to get your game plan. You want to really reinforce your game plan. And number 2, you don't want anybody to get hurt, especially now when they just now got completely healthy. So you're going to now control the boards. You're going to move the basketball. And again, a lot of y'all, including myself, notice when Jalen Brunson doesn't start, the ball moves more. Now, let's not be silly and think Brunson's not going to start. No, what we're really asking is for Brunson to move the basketball. That's it. Alvarado, Deuce, Shamit, the ball moves. Okay, when they're out there, the ball moves. The second unit, when they're out there without Brunson, the ball moves. Okay, now we want Brunson taking over in the fourth quarter, definitely. But we want that ball moving in the meantime, making the defense work is what the goal would be. Making the defense work, letting Karl-Anthony Towns get a requisite amount of touches, which he's going to need going forward into the playoffs, okay? So that's what we need. We need to protect the paint, okay? And again, the defense against Memphis was not good. They were not protecting the paint. But again, it's second night of a back-to-back, fourth game on the road, all of that. So you got to take that into consideration. But starting again, right here, protect the paint and invade theirs. Keep the turnovers down. Turnovers been bad for this last few games. 19 last game, 18 before that. Got to keep them turnovers down. Cat had 7 against Memphis. It was real sloppy, but we need to tighten up, okay, with the turnovers. Protect the ball, protect the paint, invade their paint, move the basketball, rebound the basketball, and we'll be all right. So we need to focus on these things tonight in Madison Square Garden. And then the Knicks have a pretty tough game. And again, because of the standings, the Knicks have to protect their third seed. They got to protect that, So that means they got to win. So right now, Cleveland wants that. So they may not say that publicly, but every team wants the best seeding they could get. So tonight we're playing Chicago at MSG. Monday we're playing a very hot Atlanta team. Okay, Atlanta is balling right now. After they traded the Leprechaun, they went up several levels on the defensive end of the floor, which means their team went up several levels. So that's our last road game of this regular season at Atlanta on Monday. So we got to take care of business tonight against Bulls, and then be ready for this next one Monday. So one game at a time. Tonight we got to get this dub in Chicago. They get the dub tonight, and that's their 50th win. 4th straight season of 50 wins or more for the New York Knicks. That's a long way from winning 17 and 20 games a year as they were before Tibbs came and before the Don came. So now the Knicks are on another level. Championship window is open. They're a regular 50-win team. This is what we want, okay? So tonight in Chicago, take care of business. Everybody's healthy. We should start to see a little gelling today. We want Cat to get the ball, Mr. Brunson, especially in the first half, first 3 quarters. And let's let that ball move. Let's get that 30 assists. Okay, that's what we want as a team, that 30 assists. Y'all enjoy the game. I'll be watching the replay as usual tomorrow. And we'll make sure, hopefully, we get together on Sunday. And please be safe out there. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the game. We'll talk soon. Sure.